Heading into the Orlando bubble, the Denver Nuggets were the 3 seed in the Western Conference, putting together yet another impressive campaign on the back of Nikola Jokić, who struggled pretty early on into the season, but soon after answered the questions surrounding him being a legit number 1 option, averaging 20 points per game, along with 10 rebounds and 7 assists, being Denver's main contributor. Meanwhile, the newly paid guard Jamal Murray had 18 points per game, not quite having the jump the Denver Nuggets expected him to have this season. Over the past couple of seasons, the Denver Nuggets have managed to be very competitive in the West in the regular season, but heading into the Orlando bubble, their main problem that has caused them to be sent home early in the playoffs, time and time again, still prevailed. A lack of superstar talent and a closer come the fourth quarter of very close games, specifically in the playoffs. Here's where Michael Porter Jr. and Bol Bol come into play. But first, a little bit of backstory on both of these guys. Michael Porter Jr. and Bol Bol were both national icons at the high school basketball level, being top 5 prospects, garnering comparisons to NBA greats. For both of them, most notably Kevin Durant, Bol Bol for his lankiness and pull-up 3, and Michael Porter Jr. for his shot creation, size, and overall great offensive game at the high school level. Heading into college, Michael Porter Jr. chose to play at Mizzou, where his father was the head coach, which put the spotlight on a program that usually doesn't have much hype surrounding it. In his first college game, Michael Porter Jr. suffered a very serious back injury, where he'd end up missing all but 2 games, where in those 2 games, he really struggled to shake off the rust. Going into the 2018 draft, the main headline was Michael Porter Jr. and where he'd end up landing in that draft. He was considered by many to still be the best prospect in his class, but again, with a very serious back injury, which really didn't seem to heal properly. NBA teams were potentially scared off by an otherwise great prospect. Michael Porter Jr. ended up falling all the way to the 14th spot in the draft, nearly missing the lottery, where the Denver Nuggets picked him up. The Nuggets immediately shut him down for his entire rookie season, as his back had still not healed from the year prior. In the 2019-20 season, MPJ played in 53 games, but he only averaged 16 minutes per contest, as he was coming off of a major injury, and the Nuggets rotation was also very stacked, leaving little room for Michael to shine. Bol Bol was put into a very similar situation as MPJ, as he sustained a foot injury very early on into his freshman year at Oregon, causing him to miss most of his freshman year. Bol Bol shut down for the rest of the season and prepared for the draft, and ended up declaring for the 2019 draft, and even was in attendance that night, as he had very high expectations going into the lottery. That did not happen for Bol Bol, however, as he sadly fell all the way to the 44th pick in the second round, where, like MPJ, teams were really scared off by his major injury, as he's a big man, over 7 feet tall, with a foot injury, and players like that really have a bad track history of staying healthy in the NBA. The Miami Heat ended up picking him up, but they soon traded him to the Denver Nuggets. Like MPJ, Bol Bol wasn't able to get much playing time in 2019 on a Nuggets team that, again, was very stacked, and even played in the G League, where he shined as a shot creator and a shot blocker. Heading into the bubble, MPJ and Bol Bol got months on end to get healthy and to work on their game, often even hitting the gym and practicing together. They both heavily focused on strength and conditioning, where Bol Bol even gained around 20 pounds during the break. Bol Bol was soon after given an opportunity to play big minutes in the Nuggets scrimmage games, where he wowed the basketball world, instantly having a great connection with the Joker and running the floor surprisingly well, blocking shots and scoring the ball from all over the court at a high rate. He even had some really impressive highlights, having a transition 3 coming off of a block. As for Michael Porter Jr., the Nuggets unleashed him at the start of the 8-game play-in period, where he not only averaged the most minutes per game for the Nuggets, surprisingly, with over 30 minutes per game, but the most points per game for them too thus far, putting together a 3-game stretch of scoring 37 points, 30 points, and 27 points, looking like an absolute superstar in the making for the Denver Nuggets. Heading into the playoffs, the Nuggets will really need a big contribution from MPJ, who looks to be their missing star they've needed all this time, and Bol Bol really looks to contribute coming off the bench. Going forward, if both players could stay healthy and improve their games, the Denver Nuggets can be a force heading into this decade. With Bol Bol flashing his potential to be one of the next great centers in today's NBA, along with Michael Porter Jr., who, if healthy and if he reaches his potential, could be the next great wing player in the NBA, which has proven to be the most important position in the 2010s, while most players winning the Finals MVP, of course, have been those great wing players.